What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be continuing with the Juno through the houses series, and I'm going to be speaking about having your Juno in your partner's third house in SYNASTRY. Astrology is the house of communication. This is the house of intellect and the house of sharing ideas. And the third house also shows siblings in astrology, as well as short trips and neighbors and the more daily environment, like your various communities within an environment and the interactions that go on within those communities. And in a relationship, the third house really emphasizes open communication or interactions and dialogues between two people, and the intellectual stimulation between the two people that's really gained through a mental and intellectual connection that they create together when going through experiences like learning things together and sharing ideas together in the relationship and having conversations that strengthen the bond through mutual interests that they can have, and also through them having that effective communication in their relationship. So having third house synastry in your relationship can be very great, especially for a strong mental and intellectual connection in your relationship between two people. And it can show being able to express freely, more openly, thoughts and ideas between two people. In the positive, there can be very strong listening and also communicating between the two of them, and they're gonna have very meaningful conversations, and that can lead to them having deeper understanding in their relationships. Whereas on the other end, when it comes to Juno, this is the archetype showing marriage and long-term partnerships and commitments, and the kind of qualities and situations that you kind of look for in another person when it comes to entering into a commitment that's going to be more so long-term. And Juno's placement can also show your ideal type of committed relationships, and the way that just loyalty and equality and supporting another person within a relationship is going to be approached, or is expected to be approached for you in a relationship in order for it to be fulfilling and long-lasting. So when it comes to having your partner's Juno in your third house, the Juno person in this relationship can come to find that the way that the third house person expresses themselves, or the way that they communicate and their intellectual abilities and the way that their intelligence comes across, is something that's very appealing and resonates with the Juno person, and they can come to really value that about their third house partner. And conversations between the Juno person and the third house person can be very stimulating. Even when it comes to sharing ideas, this can come a lot very natural for both the Juno person and the third house person. The way that the third house person comes across when it comes to expressing themselves, communicating their thoughts or their ideas, is in a way that makes the Juno person feel very comfortable, or they feel that it is what's necessary in order to make their relationship work and progress forward. And they can feel very drawn to the third house person because of this. And they can feel like it is what they need in order to be able to cultivate a committed relationship with someone. The third house person can have a lot of curiosity, and they can have a banter that complements the Juno person and mentally stimulates them as well. And they can have a lot of discussions about a wide range of different topics easily within this relationship. There could be the sense that they can grow with the third house person, especially intellectually, and at the same time it can be a source of enjoyment when it's done with the third house person for the Juno person. When it comes to conversations that they have about anything and everything, when it comes to discussing books that they may have read, and when it comes to being able to share information and their mutual interests with each other, They could like learning new things together. They could even attend different classes together, and they could even learn a lot together about new concepts and new ideas in general. And that can be a source of really strengthening the bond that they have in this relationship. And even just everyday interactions that they have together can be very enjoyable to the Juno person when it's done with the third house person. And in turn, the Juno person can really show a lot of loyalty as well as a lot of devotion towards this relationship. And it can be seen in how seriously they take communication, listening, learning, growing. And the third house person can be very inspired by that in the Juno person. And they can feel the sense of security and trust because of all of these things from the Juno person. And in fact, they can derive the sense of comfort and feeling supported in this relationship through them. And the third house person feels this with the Juno person. And they can feel like the Juno person gets them, or that any kind of conversations or communication that they go through is enhanced by the Juno person. And they can really appreciate that about their Juno partner, because there's this element of something more meaningful and more deep that comes out of their interactions and their conversations, and adds this extra element of understanding of each other when it comes to their interactions, and getting to know what it is that is wanted and what it is that is needed in their relationship with each other. And the third house person can feel like there's a lot to learn from the Juno person in this relationship, and they can really enjoy the learning components of this relationship with the Juno person, because the Juno person welcomes and encourages this exchanging of ideas and the third house person's curiosity, and is open to exploring that with them in this relationship. And when it comes to the communication between the third house person and the Juno person, there can be the sense that they talk things out, or there's a very good communication between the Juno person and the third house person when it comes to ensuring that the harmony is stable and consistent. And this can be done through them having very clear and effective communication, that having this synastry emphasizes maintaining or working on and coming back to in some kind of way in their relationship. Both the Juno person and the third house person really can experience a lot of personal development and growth in this relationship, and that can be owing especially to the Juno person, who can be very influential in the third house person's life in this way when it comes to learning and when it comes to growing and improving in certain areas. And the third house person can really appreciate how the Juno person can have an influence over them taking their personal development seriously, or having that brought to their attention. And even the way that they express themselves in and interact with their immediate environment can be something that the Juno person influences the third house person when it comes to improving or taking more seriously. And they can be very open to and willing to sharing their ideas, their feelings about each other in this relationship. And any kind of miscommunications, if they do come up, will always be resolved through their communication. And communication plays a strong role in this relationship, and is something that they can always fall back on, even in times of miscommunication or any kind of tension that comes up in their relationship at any point. And they can be very encouraging of each other when it comes to being vocal and being able to express either their opinions, their ideas. And the synastry can also lend to being very supportive in being able to put an idea out there. They can really support each other when it comes to being able to see anything that they have in mind or plan on doing, and seeing it through, and actually going beyond just talking about it or having an idea of a dream, of a concept that they would like to bring into reality. They could be very supportive of each other in such cases. And the synastry has a very strong redeeming quality because of that communication elements in their relationship. And both of the partners can take comfort and generally feel comfortable being able to express their feelings and their ideas with each other. And this can really strengthen the intimacy in the relationship, and they can really just enjoy being around each other and spending time together and participating in any kind of shared activities or social experiences in some kind of local or a small community. Because of the communication aspect, there's going to be an emphasis on being able to actively listen to each other, and also on being able to communicate any kind of intentions that they have towards each other within this relationship. And they can have this strong emphasis on understanding and really being clear with each other in this relationship. That can come naturally to them, and they can be on the same page when it comes to this in their relationship. And over time in this relationship, they can develop this understanding of each other to the point that they understand each other's thought perspectives intuitively and understand how a person thinks or processes information. And in that way, they continue to really develop their strong mental connection and intellectual connection between the two of them. Well, that does it for this video on having your Juno in your partner's third house in synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful and you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to like this video and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.